Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Just a few further thoughts on this, rather bizarre day we've had with Daniel Dubois being taken ill about 48 hours before his fight with Joseph Parker, and Martin Bakole, none other than Martin Bakole, stepping in as a replacement. Now, a lot of people have said, Bakole, he'll fight anyone. He's coming, I don't know, where is he? Is he in the Congo? I know he's from the Congo. He was in Africa, wasn't he? And I know he's originally from the Congo, so he might not be. I don't know where he is. But anyway, I thought that's where he was. And he was supposedly in training for a fight with F.A. Ajagba, which is scheduled for May sometime. And people are saying, he saved the day. He's come on in. He's ill. He's obviously a fighting man. He's jumped on a plane. All of that's true. Absolutely true. I mean, well done, Martin Bakole. I don't know what shape he's in. I said in my previous video, which I did a couple of hours ago, it'd be a shame if he's not in optimum shape. At least, I mean, you need more than 48 hours to be fighting fit, because there's more, you've got to prepare your mind and everything. But if he's in good physical shape, let's say 280 or something, because he's a naturally big fella anyway. If he's over in the 300s, then, that'd be a shame. But nevertheless, he's taking the fight. But to me, the one who deserves a lot of credit, and from what I've seen over the last couple of hours, people seem to be overlooking this, the one who deserves the real credit is Joseph Parker. Because you have a think about this, right? Parker is supposed to be having a heavyweight title fight, and he wants to become a two-time heavyweight champ, and the opponent pulls out, the champion pulls out. Now, I don't know what his contract is. I know I'd be amazed if he got any money, even expenses, for a cancelled fight, unless he fights. You've got to fight to earn your money. I don't know whether fighters at that level with millions involved would have some sort of insurance policy in place that's feasible. But chances are, if you don't fight, you don't get paid. So I get that bit. But the idea that he can not hold out for an quote unquote easier opponent and say, maybe even take a pay cut so that the whole camp hasn't been wasted. The fact that he's prepared to say, Martin Bakole, I'll have him, with 48 hours to go, shows to me that Joseph Parker has big bollocks. He's a tough guy. And yes, credit to Bakole for jumping in. I absolutely agree with that. But at the same time, let's not forget Joseph Parker, because he is the one who now stands to lose a lot. Because if he beats Bakole, people will say, but Bakole hadn't trained properly and all the rest of it. Whereas Bakole, if he comes in and puts up a good performance, even if it's a losing performance, he can say, I took it at 2 days' notice. It was a calculated gamble, didn't work out. I don't think he'll suffer that much, certainly not in the rankings, and he is a much avoided fighter. But if Joseph beats him, they might say, good enough win, but come on. Because already I'm seeing people saying, well, if it was all things were equal, and Bakole had a proper camp, 8 weeks at least, maybe preferably close to 12, then I'd definitely pick him to beat Parker. But now, I'm not so sure. And I understand that viewpoint. I do actually agree with that viewpoint. But for Joseph, he's the one who has sort of more to lose and less to gain, if you know what I mean. That's how I think it will be perceived. Now, I like both these guys, This is a tremendous 11th hour moving of the pieces on the chessboard. All credit to Turkey. Nice one, Turkey. I don't know what the contracts for Parker versus Dubois were. I would imagine, because there's millions involved, Dubois would have to prove that he's ill. He had the doctors apparently with him today. And I've heard a few people say about Dubois, he's always been a quitter. He's punked out again. I think this is bullshit. I really do. He's coming off 3 wins, right? Against the undefeated Jarrell Miller, who's a big fat lump and we all know about what a cheat he is and everything. And he weighs about 300 pounds. And despite that, he's got a pretty decent gas tank. And Joseph survived some middle round minor crises, coming off of a knockout defeat where he quit against Usyk, to stop Big Baby Miller in the final round, previously undefeated fighter. And then he followed that up with another fight that many thought he would lose, myself included, against Filip Hrgovic, took some big wallops and stopped Hrgovic, cut him up and stopped him. All right, he was a bit free with the head, I get it, but another undefeated fighter who was world ranked, and then he goes and smashes up Joshua in 5 rounds in front of 90,000 people at Wembley Stadium. What does this say? Well, I'll tell you what it doesn't say. It doesn't say that this guy lacks bottle. Okay, so no, I don't think in the case of Dubois, I don't think his arse has fallen out. Other people have made other insinuations or suggestions that, maybe he's pulled out because shall we say, he wouldn't have been confident about passing a certain test. Look, I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon because I don't know. I just genuinely don't know. Is it possible? Well, of course, like anything else, anything, you can put it out there. Come on, we live in this age. Look at the political shenanigans that go on in this age, greater than probably in the last almost 100 years, 80, 90 years. We've got all sorts of shenanigans going on where people are being gaslit extraordinaire and all sorts of lies are being peddled as, the truth, and, people with extremely concentrated vested interests are pretending to be the men of the people. In other words, we live in a bullshit Orwellian society. All right. So it is perfectly feasible that these things could happen, but let's not jump on any bandwagons just for the sake of a little bit of, stirring of the pudding. Let's try and have a bit of, let's be old fashioned. Let's be old school. In other words, let's look for a bit of fucking proof before we start throwing around slander and accusation. Okay. But to get back to the original point, I think Joseph Parker, he deserves a lot of credit because he was very briefly interviewed by whatever that channel's called. Is it Parsons' channel? And he was saying, yeah, I'll fight him. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm disappointed about Daniel. The belt's not on the line. Someone in the comments of my previous video said this might be for the interim IBF title. Wouldn't surprise me at all. That thought actually crossed my mind. Yes, stick an interim belt on the line, and then the winner can have Dubois. Sounds fair enough. But credit to Joseph Parker, I think, as well as Bakole. But I'm tempted to say especially to Parker for having the bottle to, to actually say, I'll fight him. He's the danger man. Everyone else is avoiding him. Give him to me. I'll have him. And when you think back, it wasn't too many years ago that people were sort of laughing at Joseph Parker, that they were saying things like, oh, he's just one of Tyson Fury's fanboys. He's a stooge for the Fury clan. And prior to that, before he got in with the Furies and became good friends with Tyson, people were saying, well, he's too nice to be a boxer. Look, he's safety first. He's boring. Look at the Huey Fury fight. Look at the sort of, lukewarm effort he gave against Anthony Joshua, and a lot of that was valid. I think a lot of those criticisms were valid. Well, my goodness, coming back from that bad knockout defeat to Joe Joyce, putting together that string of good wins, and then, saying, yeah, I'll fight Dubois, I'll beat Dubois. Oh, he's out, is he? 48 hours before the opening bell. Yeah, all right. Bakole, yeah, I'll have him. I mean, that's a sign of someone who take on anyone. That's a sign of a good fighter. That is the sign of someone I have a lot of respect for, in short. So, big credit to Joseph Parker. Looking forward to the fight. I want to see the weigh-in. I don't know if I'll even do a preview, because until I see the weights, I ain't got a fucking clue who's going to win. If I see the weight and Bakole is 282, something like that, 285 absolute maximum, I'll be thinking, okay, we've got a fight. If it's if he comes in at 300 plus, forget it. Or 298 or whatever the fuck it was for, was it Takam? Nah, too big. It will indicate that he is not in fighting fit shape. But we'll see. I mean, whichever way you think about it, it's still a great card, isn't it? And this is a welcome twist in the narrative of what has been called the greatest card ever. I don't know about that. It might well be. I don't know. I'll be thinking about this for quite a few days, it might well be the greatest card ever. I don't know. Anyway, we're all going to enjoy it. We know that, don't we? So if you've got any thoughts, leave them below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button. Why? Because you're a good person and you want to support the channel and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, what a day. What a strange one. Catch you later. Bye for now.